Hello, welcome one and all to the Atlantic Sim Racing League, your favourite Canadian-based iRacing weekly live stream here on a Friday evening, as always. We're here for something a bit different this week. No longer are we doing GT3 and GR86 Multiplus. Well, that has been shelved for the week because we're giving you something a bit even, what we think is even better. We're giving you BMW M2 Cup competition at Lime Rock, a quite underused track when it comes to motorsport in general. It doesn't see that much action in real life, but we're giving it the love today here on iRacing with something a little bit different. I think we're all going to look forward to it and appreciate what we're going to see. You can see that we've already got some cars out on track here, just in the qualifying session. Still got about 18 minutes to go. We've jumped in quite early this week on the broadcast, but that gives you guys time to get used to all of our familiar faces in rather different cars. We've got Tristan Keeping there in the lovely Valvoline livery there. Got a couple of new favourite faces as well. David McLeod, watch for him in the Oracle. Lovely Alpha Tauri, I think that is inspired. There's so many good liveries on the grid, and here to, I guess, during this qualifying session, to rate them all with me, it is my good friend Nick, who has joined the booth for the second time this week. We're doing it as partners in crime this week, aren't we, Nick? Absolutely. I mean, you look at the liveries we've got here, it's quite an interesting proposition we've got, because we've got the guys we're used to seeing going at it in GT3 and Toyota Cup in something we've never seen before with the Atlantic Sim Racing League, a new venture. And it's going to be so cool to see all these guys that might be racing in different classes in pretty much spec competition. And it's going to be so fun to kind of see what this provides, because it's quite an interesting combination when you think you've got a relatively low powered, understeery kind of BMW monster against one of the simplest but hardest to master tracks on the sim. As we see Tristan Keeping kind of giving us a bit of an example there, of just how kind of you've got to really thrash these things rounded to get the lap time. It's very much you need to have that momentum that stays with you all throughout the lap. That's how you make a lap time in these cars. We've actually got another Valvoline machine with Nico Grinham there as well, with a slightly different livery. At the top of the timing list, it is Matthew Jones, fresh off from, if memory serves, that's fresh off from winning the Sebring round of the championship, Nick.
That is correct, and he even won the last week as well in round 5 at Okayama Circuit.
There is Adam Benoit, of course. You'll know him from the Toyota Cup class. That's had a couple of races, and he's been one of the forerunners of that kind of champion chip. Speaking of championships, we have the man named Champion that we're focusing on for the moment. Jake Champion, running in P5 at the moment. It looks all very, very tight, I must say. We've got 8 cars in for this race, and we've got a field spread of basically 2 seconds, covering all of the 8 cars. So looks to be very, very close indeed. We've got a good while left in this qualifying session yet to see how it's a chance really to see how all these guys shake up against each other when it comes to on-track action, because of course you want your clean air and your lovely, clean track where you've got nobody in the way, but there might be moments where cars kind of creep up on one another, as we're seeing here on track right now. But it's going to be interesting to kind of get a preview really of what the racing product will be offered here today by these new cars. Oh, there we go. I was wondering what I was. Yeah, a little bit of a technical issue there, but Nick is back. Yeah, but as I was saying, then lots of different liveries, lots of different kind of, same drivers, new cars, new liveries. It's all quite exciting, isn't it? Yeah, there is Jake Champion running P6 at the moment. It is that thing of, I think the thing is, what's even more interesting is a lot of our viewers will have definitely, if you're on iRacing, you'll have driven Lime Rock at some point. It's kind of inevitable as you make your way up through. So everyone's kind of got their own experience here at this track, and it's very much one of those ones where it is hard to master. It is easy to learn. It is very simple in its layout, but to get the most out of a car around this circuit, you've got to be going 11/10 of a second in a way. As David McLeod, they're just hugging the curve and then some. You really have to be quite aggressive. But I think that's going to be it's going to be very interesting, because when you come back to something like Lime Rock, which you may only do it in that, and you may come back to PT3 when it comes back on the schedule, but again, this is probably a combination that most of these guys won't have even run before in their lives. So you've got to very quickly adapt to it, and that's what they're doing here. Is what we're seeing, according to the timing sheets. Indeed, actually, that's a good point. I forgot to mention this is, of course, the new spec M2, because they had put the M2 in iRacing, I think, last year or a couple of years ago, and now they've got the brand new spec, more horsepower, more aggro, and it's looking lovely with all these custom liveries. I mean, I think it was released. Am I right in saying it was released with the newest update? Yeah. Indeed. Oh, we've got pace cars now. That's a new format point for the ASRL, to give it its kind of abbreviated title. I've never actually called it that, but yeah. Running in with 10 minutes to go, we're looking. I mean, look at you've got Nico Grim and Matthew Jones there running pretty much on almost identical lap times. I think it's 9,000ths of a second, or no, 1,000th of a second that divides them at present as we look at John Perry running around. So another. Yeah, indeed. Actually, that's a good point. We haven't really mentioned it so much in this on the broadcast previously, but there is a bit of a competition, isn't there? In the sense that all these drivers are kind of competing for their region of Canada, aren't they? Nope, you are. On my side, at least, you're coming through perfectly fine. But that might just be a difficult thing. If you can hear Nick on the chat, tell him he has a lovely voice in the chat, guys. But yeah, there's the iRacing Watkins Glen 6 hour going on right now, the first split of the day. So that's kind of probably contributing to the lower numbers this week. But that's kind of what you get when you're running a race every week. There will occasionally be things that get in the way of the full grid size. But I guess to every competitor in those races, I think one of which I think is Nate Campbell, who of course was one of the, it still is one of the very kind of first forerunners of this championship. And I remember it was quite. I've got a bit of a story. I may as well tell it, considering we've got a little bit of time left in qualifying, which is that I was doing the Majors 24 a couple of weeks ago, and I was checking the Discord server, and he was in there, and it was so weird, kind of funny to me that I was like, "Oh, Nate's in the Majors Discord server," and he's participating in the chat. It was quite funny. I did say hi, but that was quite cool. And he was, of course, he was in split 10, which if any of you were following that event, you'll kind of know You'll either have heard the horror stories or you'll have actually lived through it. Split 10 being a split which basically had about 22 hours of torrential rain, like the worst rain that the sim could possibly throw at you. You know, very mixed kind of very mixed response to the fact they had to sit through 22 and a half hours of rain. But Nate seemed to enjoy it, had quite a lot of fun, it seems. So we you know, great for him that he was able to go to the majors, get involved in one of the most wettest splits ever, and then have a great time. But that's it, isn't it? It's not just in this league. We have familiar faces that you will just end up encountering on iRacing at points, because that's part of it. It's not just, you know, one community as one set of people. iRacing is a community as a whole, and that's kind of what's so brilliant about it, is you could go and see these. You can end up in a race with these guys and any of the officials. That's kind of the brilliant thing, you know. And that's so yeah. It's sort of like being in a race with an F1 driver, except kind of there's a bit more relatability to it, and it's cool because, you know, you're watching these guys week in, week out, and that in different competition as well, it must be said. So yeah, no, it should be good, and to all our drivers that are competing currently in the Glen 6 hours or are doing so this weekend, we wish them best of luck, of course, from here at the Racing League. Don't think it's going to go on the YouTube. No. Okay. Do you want to try that? Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, just giving her a little bit of a test here. This is Nick. Can you hear my voice now, Golden Eagle? Awesome. That sounds great.
Hey, there we go. Golden Eagle.
We are all good to go.
In chat. That's brilliant. There you go. Loud and clear. But yeah, I was mentioning that of course we've got the Watkins Glen 6 hour. It's quite funny actually, because I am scheduled in to do the split that starts in 4 hours and 15 minutes time, and it's currently approaching 2 a.m. Over here. So I'm going to have.
You're really not going to sleep tonight.
I'm not going to get to sleep. It's going to be because I've got to, and the thing is, because basically the split starts at 7 a.m. and I presume some of the guys maybe in here will be doing that as well. So I've got to get up at like 6:30 a.m. to get my sim set up and everything and get registered for the session. So, you know, but it's, you know, happy to do it. It's quite fun having these kind of long nights sometimes. Hopefully it won't impact my pace too much. I've had quite a good day today, to be fair, because although it was hampered by screen freezes, I was doing some of the IMSA open races, and I ended up having quite a lot of pace, despite not really having driven the LMP2 for about 2 years. I don't know how. I'm not normally that good when it comes to pace, but I managed to get myself a couple of podiums, and gosh, I had this insane last lap where I was in the Cadillac GTP. I'd taken like massive front end damage earlier in the race, and opted against the optional repairs because I figured, what's the point? It's front end damage, I can cope with it. I hate understeer. I'm not really an understeery guy. I will admit that, but you know, so I've never actually driven this car on iRacing ever, the old or the new variant, but I ended up coming to the last few laps in a podium position because I'd stayed out and not taken fresh set of tyres, which had saved me a bit of time on everybody else. And the rest of that stint was just me driving what was essentially a boat of a Cadillac, about 2 seconds off the pace, just getting lucky with traffic, with GT3 traffic the whole way. And in the end, I managed to go into the final lap having about 0.3 of a second on P4. Did some absolutely not normally I'm that good at defensive driving, managed to hold on somehow for the podium, which is my first podium in 2 years because I haven't actually done that much iRacing since I originally quit, basically because of a variety of factors. In mid 2024, came back to the commentary. I figured, why not? I've got the summer off. I may as well just do a bit and have some fun. And now we're doing this, and yeah. So away from my rant about iRacing and IMSA fixed and how much I love Watkins Glen as a track and how I turned completely this week. Looking like we're coming through to the final laps. Oh no, not the final lap. That's just a few guys pitting. It could well be. As we see Nico Grinham currently in P2, still just 1,000th of a second off. No, sorry. Hello, while I've been rambling on, we've had somebody go into the 58, Matthew Jones, with a 58.823. So that is the gauntlet that's been laid down for the rest of the field to try and catch in the remainder of the session, which only has 3 minutes on it. That's about 3 laps. And here goes Michael Parker, who I believe, Mitchell Parker even, who I believe is a new addition to the grid this week. We welcome him to the league, and we hope he can join the grid as much as possible over the next few weeks. But these guys winding down their qualifying sessions because we've only got about 2 more attempts for everybody. And there is Nico Graham, who I believe held, he's P2 at the moment. He did hold that P1 spot until Matthew Jones took it. But actually, no, that was, I think, I've sort of got that a bit wrong. Jake Champion's going to cross the line as the last driver to do so by my calculations. There's a few guys still out on track, but that, I think, is it for qualifying, unless a few guys have sort of ended their runs early because they're that confident. I mean, there's 9 cars in the grid, so there's definitely chances to work your way up the order. It's not like a situation where you're 30 cars back. And goodness, as there goes Adam Benoit. I think that's the second lap in a row he's done that. I'm pretty sure he went off in a similar circumstance last lap. Here is Jake Champion working his way round up the kind of down the hill towards the start-finish line. There is Mitchell Parker. Both of them running quite similar liveries. It's quite handy. I've got this graphic up here, which is telling me who exactly it is as Mitchell Parker. Again, new addition to the championship this week. We welcome him. Here's Tristan Keeping, who you will have no doubt seen in the GR86 GT3 multi-class league. And there's Adam Benoit, who, of course, we know of his heroics in the Toyota Cup. But he's used to forward wheel front. I always call it forward wheel drive. It's front wheel drive. I need to remind myself that front wheel drive machinery is Adam. With that, I think pretty sure he took a class win last time out at Motorina Roschersleben, sorry.
That is correct, and he also won the last week as well.
Yeah, indeed. There is Mitchell Parker parking it on the grass. Nick, this is a really random observation, but the grass looks really good this week. Like the texture quality of it.
I don't know.
Is that just me?
It could be. Maybe they did a few updates on a few of the tracks. I'm not
possibly
sure.
It's the most realistic looking iRacing grass I've ever seen. It's brilliant.
It does look really, really good.
Yeah. I feel like this must be what the flight sim guys feel like when they're talking about, the details on the airport windows. This is our equivalent. The grass is just lovely.
Every single speck of it.
Indeed. There is. There's a gnome there. I never knew there was a gnome at Lime Rock. That's brilliant. I love the fact they've actually managed to model that in. But yeah, if you look at it on that shot there, you can see there's patches of grass and it all looks really nice. They've done a great job with the foliage on iRacing.
They really have. It's come a long way. I was just watching a video earlier today about a track from 2009. Actually, it was this track from 2009 to now, and it's come quite a long ways.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're waiting for the everybody for the gridding process to begin. We've got Matt Jones on pole once again. Of course, I think he took that. Was it Sebring, if memory serves correctly, he took the win at, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that was his brilliant performance over there. Do you think we'll see the same again this week, or will Nico Goodham? Because I remember he was in the Golf Corvette and he kind of slipped down the order a little bit. Do you think we'll see a bit of a closer battle this week, or
We do
is
see a
this
lot of
Matt
strong
Jones?
stuff from Nico Grinham. So
Yeah,
it could be a pretty tight battle here.
I think it could be a great battle. Lime Rock's the track that offers it up in droves because of the way the slipstream effect is so crucial here, and you've got those kind of you've got the hairpin. I think everybody laments that hairpin, kind of starting the second half of the lap. But it'll be interesting to see who makes their moves there and whether that sausage curb catches anyone out. But running you through the order then, because we haven't actually done that yet, and that's my fault. Matt Jones on pole, alongside him is Nico Grinham on the front row. Then 2 tenths back is Mitchell Barker, the debutant, sneaking ahead of Jake Champion and Adam Benoit and Sean Perry with 4th, 5th, and 6th. Tristan Keeping is down in 7th before that is David McLeod in 8th and Graham Garber in 9th place. They are now starting to get ready to grid. I think it's going to be a full pace lap here. I that's something I've never really figured out is what dictates whether tracks have full pace laps or not, because of course Watkins Glen has a full pace lap, and Lime Rock does, but it's not always the same. And there is a look at our field for tonight, looking splendid in their liveries, and it's great to see such a good variety of them. They're all now readied up, and good to see that even despite the 6 hours of Watkins Glen being on this weekend, we've got a good, healthy field. In what is, I mean, this league's been going just over a month now.
The league started itself probably about 2 months now, but we've been doing the streams for about a month because this would be our 6th session.
Yeah, been a joy to broadcast them, and hopefully we can get some really good action today. Still waiting for this pace car to start. I think it's sort of asleep. The headlights are off. Maybe that's its kind of maybe I'm getting into a bit of Cars universe type stuff. Maybe that's its eyes, and if the headlights are off, that means it's asleep or something. I don't know. We're waiting for it to get moving anyway.
I think we might be waiting for Matt Jones to hit the grid here.
Oh, Matt Jones, yes. Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I can't. He's the one man who hasn't gone to the grid yet. Golden Eagle still in chat and still being awesome, and then says the streams are always awesome, guys. Thank you very much for your support, Golden Eagle. We really appreciate you being here in chat, and it's a pleasure to broadcast this league to you guys as well. As Matt Jones, I think now he has appeared on the grid. There shouldn't be too long now before. In fact, there we go. The pace car does start to lead this field away. A good chance to get these guys' tyres warmed up. And, of course, prepare for how you're going to tackle turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3 and the rest of the race, because we have got just under 40 minutes of action all the way. He's right on board with Jake Champion. I mean, of course, I think if your surname is Champion, you want to become champion at something, right? Just because it would be so cool to be, named champion and then be the champion. A bit like Chris Moneymaker in the World Poker Series.
And every week we see him give quite a show.
Indeed. He's always an entertainer with his driving, isn't he? I swear, every week he ends up in some brilliant battle or something. It's never boring with Jake Champion.
Brilliant battle or a brilliant incident report. Either one.
Yeah. Yeah. There is Tristan Keeping. I must say, before we do go green just here, have you got a favourite livery among the pack?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I'm just loving it all. I kind of like the Red Bull back there. It's it's catching my eye for sure.
That's good. I feel like that Valvoline is such a clean. It kind of reminds me of some of the old V8 supercars liveries. You used to see a lot of that. But anyway, livery talk aside, the 9 cars are ready for the racing. The pace car has pulled in. The revs are rising here at Lime Rock Park for a brand new venture in the Atlantic Sim Racing League, and Matt Jones leads the field away for 39 minutes of action down into turn one. He's going to be unchallenged. There is Mitchell Parker on the inside of Nico Grinham in turns 1 and 2, side by side still, as Grinham is going to get pushed out wide by the debutant in this league, who's already up to second, but up ahead is Matt Jones, who's taken the lead by some margin. There's Adam Benoit getting all crossed up and losing a position out to J Champion, who we said he would keep it itching for us, and he's already done just that. As they go down towards that kind of hairpin for the first time, everybody needs to make sure they keep off the sausage curb on the inside. Jumping over it, despite that, though, they've not listened to my warning, and fair play. They seem to have all gone through quite cleanly. Sean Perry there on the outside, no, not quite having the guts to send it all the way around the outside of Adam Benoit, with Tristan keeping him behind. But as they stream down towards the start-finish straight, it's an incredibly short lap, Nick, but also they've all made it through safely.
With only 2.4 kilometers of track, it's a quick one for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. It's a sub 1 minute lap here. They're going to do about 38, 39. They could even do 40 laps if they save enough time, because you've got to save a minute for a lap, and they're saving about 2 seconds at the moment. So it's going to be tight with whether we get 40 laps in 40 minutes. A couple of the cars have dropped off this little train here. That's Graham Garber. You can see at the back of the shot, David McLeod hanging on the coattails to this kind of central train we've got at the moment, riding on board now with Sean Perry right behind Adam Benoit, who gets all over the curb, and Benoit is now coming under real pressure, because look at the way that you can just push your opponent almost through the corner. That's what you can do in these front wheel drive cars. It's very much a case of put the power down, get it turned in, and just keep your foot all the way through that third sector. Jake Champion has already set the fastest lap with a 59.127. That's a tenth faster than Matt Jones, in fairness, on the second lap of the race. But as you look at the gaps, Matt Jones is starting to break away. You can just about see it on board from Sean Perry's viewpoint in the Mobil 1 machine at the moment. He's still chasing down Adam Benoit, but up front, it's Matt Jones who's already going to second on Mitchell Parker, sorry, who is got all over him, is Nico Grinham, searching for that first win in the series, with Jake Champion kind of turning this into a three-way fight for second. There is Sean Perry all over the back of Tyler Keeping, still as they romp through to complete yet another lap. These are going so by. My voice is not working because it's 2 a.m. These are going so fast, these laps, aren't they, Nick? And actually, we've got another indication of Matt Jones's speed. He's just taken the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he's not going to let that one slide for long.
Absolutely. And here's another angle. I'm loving this angle of Sean Perry, by the way. It's so cool to get these onboards, because you can really feel the kind of the lateral movement and the inertia of the cars. Meanwhile, Nico Grinham is still all over the back of Mitchell Parker. And we wanted to kind of send a statement of intent of, just because you're new here doesn't mean you can go and start being the second man in command to Matt Jones, although he's done a brilliant job to do so, and it's brilliant that we're seeing that kind of competition. Matt Jones is up the road by 1.5 seconds. We look back at Sean Perry once again, who is seemingly never giving up on Adam Benoit's 5th place at the moment. Here is Jake Champion, who's actually caught Nico Grinham out that final corner, and that's something we haven't really mentioned, is the corner exit is so much more important than entry this time, because you look at the way that the layout is run here. If you can get a good exit out of turn 4 and 5, if you can get a good exit out of the final corner, or the final real corner that's on the track, which is turn, I can't quite think of it, but it's turn 8. You can get a good exit out of turn 8, you're set. If you can get a good exit out of turn 4, you're also set. It's really just about that kind of element could be so crucial in deciding the winner today. We have, meanwhile, got a couple of new people in chat, so hello to you guys. Jay Champion going side by side for the position with Nico Grinham. There's Adam Benoit figuring out where does he want to go, because he's got two cars that are almost filling up the road, and there goes Grinham onto the grass, and that's going to allow the next couple of guys to, because Benoit's in the slipstream now of Nico Grinham, and they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Goodness me, are they all going to keep themselves out of trouble at the moment? Yes, Benoit is still somehow in kind of behind these two. There's Grinham and Mitchell Parker still, Jay Champion, so still side by side. Mitchell Parker, in fact, he's romping up the road away from his battle pack. Benoit still trying to figure out a way up the inside of Nico Grinham at the moment, but Jay Champion holding that third place. This battle pack could be going into a battle pack of 5, because you've got Tristan Keeping and Sean Perry in there as well, but they're basically turning this into a train at the moment. This is brilliant stuff. It kind of out of nowhere, Nick, it's kind of turned into a brilliant battle pack of about 6 cars.
It really has. Who expected that going into the second corner?
Absolutely nobody. That's the thing. I think sometimes these races can just sort of come alive at absolutely random moments, as there goes Sean Perry on the inside line. He's got the inside. Is he going to make the move? Because you can hang it round the outside. We just saw last lap, and no, Tyler Keeping not able to fight that one now. And now Sean Perry's got about 4 cars. He can all see them. It's another completely matter entirely getting past all of them. He's got to start with Adam Benoit, who's going to be starting with Nico Grinham, who's going to be starting with Jake Champion, who's reeled in Mitchell Parker. So this is now basically a battle from about 2nd to 8th on the grid, all fighting for all these other spots. It's absolutely brilliant stuff, and it's also brilliant if your name is Matthew Jones, because he's romped ahead to a 5-second advantage. He's taken set his own fastest lap of the race again, with half an hour remaining. I really hope it stays like this.
We've seen the consistency from Matt Jones, and we know he can do it for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of talked a lot about how it was kind of redemption in a way for Sebring last time out, because of course he was involved in a kind of turn 1 crash, and we thought his form might be able to take it all the way to Nate Campbell. On that occasion it was not, but now he's having another chance to just show how good he is. Meanwhile, side by side, Nico Grinham on the inside of Jake Champion. And was the contact the race? Champion's turned round. Oh no! We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. That corner there, that tricky chicane is the one corner you've got to keep it clean through. And we knew that going too wide into there was a risk. And Jake Champion is the man who's found that out. And they're still going at it. There's Adam Benoit side by side with Sean Perry, who's now up into 4th place. And he's taken the position because behind is now Tristan Keeping, who's might have a look into turn 1. As they're still all really close together going into this complex of corners. It's kind of opened up the gap a bit, that contact between Grinham and Jake Champion. And I sort of fear, not a driving standards thing, but you look at the way that corner's laid out. Almost every race on iRacing in the officials, that kind of incident happens. It was kind of the way that battle pack was getting so frothy at the mouth, or frothy at the engine, I guess is the proper terminology here. I fear it was somewhat inevitable. It was always going to be an ambitious move, perhaps a little too ambitious from Nico Grinham, and Jake Champion now sitting 2 seconds back from David McLeod, who's moved up a position. So it's not the end of the world. It just matters really what kind of damage he's picked up from that collision. Here is Adam Benoit now. He's got to try and get back past the Sean Perry Mobile 1 sponsored BMW, and he's sticking with Sean Perry in fairness. He's moved up the grid quite a lot this race. No doubt helped by that earlier contact. As goodness me, Benoit he goes sideways and he goes sideways again, and he spins round. Oh no! Adam Benoit, we saw it on the onboard. He started to get a little bit loose on that first part of the third corner, managed to save it, and then went round again. That's kind of the pitfalls of a front-wheel drive car is that you haven't got the rears to kind of balance out the oversteer. If you get loose, it's so much harder to gain control of your car again. And Adam Benoit just found that out. So we've got two bits of drama, basically in the span of about 3 laps. And what this means is Mitchell Parker has a lovely, comfortable 2.6 second cushion to Nico Grinham once again. So he's now going to be thinking, he's able to take a breather at this point. As Adam Benoit actually goes into the pit, so I wonder if he's changing his tyres. Maybe he thinks he's just ruined them a little bit with that spin and maybe flat spotted them. But there is Jake Champion with a brand new angle. Actually, it's very cool to see this over the top angle. But there is Jake Champion. But ahead of him is David McLeod, who's already reeled in that gap by about 1.3 seconds. So he's definitely driving on with all the tenacity that he's always had. But I guess a bit more haste in that driving as well, trying to get back up the order. His fastest lap is a very competitive 59.127. That is one of the fastest laps in fact, I think it is the second fastest lap we've seen so far today. There he is on the back of David, and is he gonna send to the inside? Not quite this time. Hasn't got really the ability, hasn't got the speed to go too wide, but he's going to get a really nice run out of the final corner coming towards the front straight. This should be a pretty simple move if this race car is to go by from earlier on in the race. There it is. Jake Champion on the inside. It takes a bit of a wider line, and that almost allowed David McLeod to have another go up in towards turn 2, but not on that occasion. It is Jake Champion who will move up to take 6th place, and he's now got another 2.7 seconds to catch up on Tyler Keeping, who in turn is 2.7 seconds behind Sean Perry. So the gaps are starting to open up now. I think it was sort of all going to come. It all kind of came to a head in that kind of 6, 7, 8 car train. I've just said the me now, haven't I? 6, 7. Oh well. But yes, there is the battle. Actually, that is Adam Benoit, who's just come out of the pits. In P8. So he's staying on the lead lap, but he's 30 seconds back, so he's going to need something of a miracle to climb his way back up the order, just having passed Graham Garber. I'm not quite sure what happened to Graham, but he is 30 seconds back from the leading pack, so I wonder whether he had a spin of his own that we didn't see on the broadcast. And there he is, still with his car fully intact. There's no damage that he's carrying, it doesn't look like, as he rolls up towards the chicane. There is Matthew Jones, who is already coming up to lap him. That's kind of the look at the gaps. The look at the gaps at the moment is that Matt Jones is so far ahead. He's got 10 seconds on Mitchell Parker. He's going to be lapping some cars. You get the feeling by the end of this one. It's almost like the Jaws theme, isn't it, Nick? There is Mitchell Parker in the Bilstein livery, just romping his way through turns 1. He's got a nice gap to Nico Grinham, standing at 2 seconds. So I think that he'll be able to, judging by his previous pace, you can actually see his last 5 or so laps in the bottom corner of your screen there, which are all. Oh, is that just me? Okay, that's just me. Never mind. That's actually really handy. Thank you, Nick, for the broad. Should say as well, Nick, of course, he's commentating this week, but he does man the broadcast. He does a very good job of it, and doesn't get nearly enough thanks for his efforts, because I get a bit of praise in the YouTube chat, but it should all be going to Nick for his absolute.
I appreciate your thanks every week.
But I have to give it, because you're the man that gets this broadcast up and running and enables me to commentate it, so it goes both ways. There is Matthew Jones being lapped, the first car of what I think will be a couple in this one. We've still got 25 minutes to go, but there is Graham Garber now a lap down. The next target for Matt is about 7 seconds up the road, is that Adam Benoit driven machine. So I think it probably was a pit stop for tyres, but for Adam Benoit. But in any case, it has kind of given him a bit of a tall order to achieve to get back onto that kind of leading group. But look at that, though. as we mentioned Mitchell Parker, he had a 2-second cushion a couple of laps ago. Now that's down to just under 0.7 of a second, Nick. This could be quite an interesting battle because it's a driver we haven't really seen before in this championship, going up against somebody who we very much know what he can do. Here, meanwhile, is J Champion having already caught up on tyre keeping, so he's already back into 6th place. This could well be 5th as we head down towards turn 1, Nick.
He's not wasting any time there.
Absolutely not. In fact, he's actually made it before the corner even approaches. I mean, that is efficiency from J Champion. I do feel like it's such a shame he's kind of having to make his way up the order, because if he was right up there with Grinham and Parker still, it would be a brilliant battle. But as it happens, what did we say at the top of the show? We said at the top of the show, this man always keeps us entertained, and he's doing a brilliant job of that because he's roaring his way up the order. 6 seconds is his next gap to Sean Perry, and I'd wager that he'll be on the back of the Mobil 1 BMW within a few laps. He's got 24 minutes to try and make up as many places as he can, and so far up to 5th place. He's recovered really well, but this is the main battle at the moment, Nick. It is Nico Grinham against Mitchell Parker for that 2nd place spot, runner-up spot to Matt Jones. It surely will be. The gap's now 12 seconds. You can see Sean Perry, actually. I think he started to close
yeah, he's
on
been
these
staying right on their tail the whole time.
Yeah, really. That's the one thing I always see with Sean Perry, is that maybe he might not be the fastest driver in a specific race, but he's always ends up in a really nice position just because he's so good at being really consistent, and he capitalizes on his consistency and others having misfortune, a la J Champion, and he's up to fourth already. So really, he's keeping pace with these guys as well. If he can find a little bit more pace, we could be looking at a situation where this sort of becomes a battle, not just for P2, but for that final podium place as well, as Nico Grinham continues to close, Nick, on Mitchell Parker. But Parker's performance so far is really impressed on his debut.
Incredibly stellar. And actually, I do believe we've seen Parker before. I think he's just given us quite the night here, up at the front of the pack.
Oh, it's brilliant to see. It's nice to see kind of a new face challenge the established order. And that's exactly what he's doing with Nico Grinham. The gap, by the way, you can still see Sean Perry there, trying all his might to stay with these two. He's got a decent gap back to Jake Champion. That gap's come down to about 5 seconds in the last lap and a half. So Jake Champion still very much the man on a mission, the man with the pace. And that, so we'll have to watch him kind of see how far he can get up. I mean, a podium is absolutely not out of the question when you look at the gap. It's about 5 seconds to Sean Perry, then 2.5, so 7.5 seconds from the podium, with 21 minutes to go. That is more than doable. Oh, goodness me, no, Mitchell, at the moment, an unforced error. Mitchell Parker off and not quite into the grass, but runs really wide. And look at the gap that Nico Grinham's already opened up. It's just a super unfortunate mistake. Grinham just he's been pressuring Mitchell Parker for lap after lap after lap, and then it is that Mitchell finally brakes, makes that unforced error under braking into turn 1, gets super understeer, loads of understeer into the corner, and now what did we just say? Sean Perry, Mr. Consistent, Mr. finds his way up the order through sheer consistency and sheer cleanliness of his driving. Well, he's already up to 4th, and now if you look at the gap, it is under a second. He's going to be in the slipstream of Mitchell Parker, and the fight for P3 is well and truly on, Nick.
It is. He saw that and got excited.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? When you see someone make an unforced error, because we all do it on iRacing and any simulator, when the spotter tells you there's been an incident up ahead, you have a little flick on your relative and just see who it is, and if it is somebody that you're fighting with, or somebody that's in the same class as you, and you've got a chance to gain a position, you do get a bit excited. You do start to push a bit, because you know that even if it's just a spin, if it's just a bit of understeer, something like that, that's just going to wear their tyres down that fractional bit more than yours, and it just means that you're going to have that advantage later on in the stint. In this case, the race. Now, with obviously they're not going to have to. Well, actually, they are going to have. Are they going to have to pit? Does the fuel tank? Does the fuel tank go 40 minutes in these cars?
You know what? I could not tell you. I would imagine we probably won't see a mandatory pit, but well, we'll have to stick around, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you should stick around anyway because we know it's brilliant, brilliant stuff, and it's brilliant, brilliant fun for all of us doing the broadcast, and of course because these guys deserve to have the plaudits on their epic driving skills. But there is looking at the gap now. Interestingly enough, Nico Gwynn is being reeled in by Mitchell Parker, but so is Sean Perry. The Gwynn is not breaking away here in the way I think we thought he might. Maybe Sean Perry was just been hanging back these last few laps, and now he's started to turn on the pace. You can see his last few laps have all been running in the 59s, and actually he went 2/10 quicker on that most 1.6 tenths quicker on that most recent lap. So a 59.8 is good enough to keep him in the hunt for this podium place, which is developing quite nicely. Nico Grinham is still staying ahead of Mitchell Parker and Sean Perry, but I think that that gap is now 0.9 seconds. Whatever's happened, maybe Nico Grinham just lost his tyres, or not lost his tyres per se, but the tyre wear has started to set in for these guys, and maybe, just maybe, Mitchell Parker might be the man who saved those tyres for longer into the race. There's still 18 minutes to go, but he's certainly got the advantage, you'd have to say, right now, as Matthew Jones. We can see him now. That's not me yawning at the fact he's 17 seconds up the road. That's me yawning at the fact it is currently 2 in the morning over where I am in the UK. But I think it's another brilliant display of driving from Matthew Jones. There is Adam Benoit. We said it probably wouldn't be the last time he lapped a car in this one, and there he goes. So that's every car up from. That's Benoit. Interestingly enough, Nick, we've had the last 22 laps have been without Graham Garber. I don't quite know what's happened there, but he's not turned a lap in the last 22.
You're right. I did not see that. I didn't see him go out.
Yeah. So whether he's had a crash that requires optional repairs, or whether he's just taking those optional deals, maybe it is even required, we don't know. But for now, we're focusing on the battle for P3 because Nico Grinham, it's so close between these two because it feels like it's been Nico's been gaining about a tenth of a second, or if that, over the last few laps. And what Mitchell Parker's been able to do is kind of, recoup, recalibrate really, really quickly and just refocus and stay right with Nico. And I'd suggest that gap's come back to 0.7 after the final corner. He just needs a few more of these good runs out these longer corners. He's actually halved the gap on that last straight, so he's definitely going to be in with the shout on this lap. You can see how hard he's just sending it into the corner. And there's Sean Perry, I think, who sent it maybe a little bit too hard because I actually can't see what the gap is, but I think he may have just lost a little bit of time there.
I believe
and who is
so.
behind
it
him?
Looks like he hit the gas or brakes a little too hard and went a little sideways there.
Yeah. But look who is behind him. It's very much Jaws' theme of it's Jake Champion with 1.6 seconds of a deficit now to make up. He's been kind of quietly chipping away at that, and now he's very much in the sight of Sean Perry. So there could well be a move for fourth place on here. He's still got 16 minutes, and if he does that, then he's only got 4 seconds to get back up to the likes of Parker and Nico Grinham. So there really could be a absolute all-timer comeback to get onto the podium from this one. It's been an incredible comeback so far, and he's certainly showing no signs of slowing down. Is Jake Champion. This could be a champion level drive from him if we're going to keep on with the champion theming. Again, never ever finds himself in a boring scenario. He has to make it interesting for himself, and we love that. But there you can see both battles going on, both on your screen there, as Mitchell Parker now coming up towards Nico Grim, and that gap is coming down to half a second. So he's going to have a real shot going towards turn one. And we're going to have to watch and see what kind of run he can get. He needs a good one, that's for sure, as we look back at a battle for P7 that's kind of emerged here. This is Tristan Keeping and David McLeod, who's going to go to the inside. We've seen that move not pay off already, and I think wisely Tristan Keeping just sort of has to back out of it in the end, just to avoid a repeat of the contact we saw earlier that resulted in Jake Champion's comeback drive. Here, though, Nick, is what this battle promised us, which is that now it is Nico Grinham and Mitchell Parker who are going at it and at it and at it. And Sean Perry now is under pressure from Jake Champion. It's kind of all hotting up back once again.
We really have battles all over the field right now.
Absolutely, and there he's going to pull out quite severely to have a go, almost get into the back of the guy ahead, Sean Perry. Not quite on that occasion. As look at it, well, I think the thing is for him, he'll be plotting his next move really, because he knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's raced against Sean Perry for the last couple of weeks, so he'll know the ins and outs of most of these guys, not least Sean Perry. Here he is, he's going to pull out, and that's the advantage of the long straight. He's going to send it to the inside. Is he? Not quite. Oh no, maybe he does stay on. Maybe he does still go for it. In fact, very kindly, Sean Perry leaves the door open. There's door-to-door contact, and now on the outside line, he's forced to just give the place back a little bit and try again. That was brilliant stuff. I thought for all the world that Sean Perry had been far too kind and given him a bit too much space, but in the end, brilliant driving from both of them, and their positions remained unchanged. And goodness me, almost in the back. And it's the back of Sean Perry.
We almost saw it again.
The corner. Yeah. Well, he almost became the man who caused the contact that time, because he's already come to blows as a result of that exact sort of incident. I would have thought he'd be making sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else and making sure he isn't the arbitrator of that contact if it does happen. Here is Tristan Keeping, who's closing up on David McLeod. I'm not sure how he's fallen so far behind, but he's not had the greatest of pace in the last few laps. As we cut back to this battle for P4, Jake Champion once again not quite going to have the run that time down into turn one, but he's going to just try and stay in the wheel tracks of Sean Perry for the moment. And I think he's going to have to think about a different way of overtaking, because I don't think he's going to have the run through the final corner, though maybe he might, because you can just see there he gets a little bit more throttle down on the exit of the corner, not quite going to have enough to go for a move down into the chicane this time, but maybe if he just keeps at it, he might have a shot down towards turn one. We're going to stay on board with the man who is making something of a comeback drive and then some in this race at the moment, just to kind of see how he takes all these lines. You can see he's going wide. He's allowing himself to use those curves a lot more than his rival is here, and it's gaining him time. You can see there he takes a tighter line, gets onto the curve a little bit. He isn't afraid to do that, of course, and he's going to have to think of it again, because not quite on this occasion does he make the move, because Sean Perry is putting that BMW M2 exactly where he needs to keep Jake Champion behind. Could Sean Perry be the cork in the bottle that's kind of been needing to come along for a while, if anybody can stop Jake Champion? But it's looking like a really, really solid battle, this, Nick.
It is quite the battle, and as we look ahead, it looks like Parker is getting right on the back of Nico again.
Yeah, 1.1 seconds of the gap. So it's opened up slightly, but I think it'll come down again in due time. I think the thing is with these lap times at Lime Rock, it's so fickle in a way, because you can go, because it's such a tight track and because it's such a close combination. As here to demonstrate that is Jake Champion. Is he going to go for the move this time? Well, Sean Perry moves across to go defensive. Champion's now going to have to send it around the outside, so he's on the opposite line. This time gets pushed all the way to the grass by Sean Perry, who stays defensively and keeps the position once again for another corner. But to your point, Nick, it very much is that sort of situation where, because these lap times are so close, it's actually very hard to make any kind of inroads because there's very much an optimal way of taking the line, the track. There's an optimal line, and these guys are sticking to it, and they're kind of lapping within tenths of a second of each other. So it can swing so much depending on how everyone does over the course of that. The one man who is definitively the class of the field today, well, in terms of positioning at least, is Matthew Jones. We haven't really mentioned it in a while with 10 minutes to go. In fact, there just ticks over to 9 minutes 59. He's got 21 seconds on the field at the moment, but then it is a 0.6 seconds between Nico Grinham and Mitchell Parker. It's Jake Champion peels into the pit with 10 minutes to go. Maybe there is going to be a fuel stop after all. Maybe he's getting it out of the way early. We don't quite know yet. They didn't seem to have any damage. I'll have to wait and see what exactly is going on with that, whether it is a damage stop, whether it's a tyre stop, whether it's a fuel stop. Yeah. Indeed, well, that's the thing, isn't it? He's got, Benoit's gone wide again, though, off the exit of the corner. Got a bit of oversteer, maybe put a bit too much on the throttle, get on the grass even, and just sends it a little bit wide. I hope he hasn't lost too much time because of that. But I think he might have done, because you can see in the background as well, he's not appearing. There he is in the end. But well, as we cut to Adam Benoit, a bit of a moment for that. It's odd because you'd expect him to be maybe a little bit more adept in these front wheel drive cars, because of course he was doing so brilliantly in the Toyota GR86 Cup car. But maybe, I've experienced this myself this week in practice for the majors, not the majors 24. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. But for the Watkins Glen 6 hours, I've been switching between GT3 to GTP and LMP2, and having to not only learn how to drive the GTP properly, because I hadn't really done that yet, but also figure out how to jump between different cars and figure out exactly what they need to get the most out of them. But here is Nico Grinham, who's getting the most out of his BMW M2 at the moment. He's up into second place. The gap is 21 seconds to Matthew Jones, who looks to be taking a strong win this weekend, as you can just about see Mitchell Parker there, staying honest, keeping him honest, staying in the fight. As here he's just in keeping in the Valvoline BMW, making another run through the final few corners, getting on the grass a little bit there. And you can see just ahead is Matthew Jones, so who's gone back up to 5th place. Now, what's going to be happening that's really interesting now is the next man that Matthew Jones has to pass is Jake Champion. And though we've only got 7 minutes remaining, I really hope we can see it happen. He's got 6 seconds or 5 seconds to make up there. There's that gap, meanwhile, between Mitchell Parker and Nico Grinham even, sitting around 1.2 seconds. So Mitchell really needs, he's got the podium spot if he wants it, because he's got 6 seconds back to John Perry. But if he wants that P2, which he'll definitely will do, I'm sure, he's going to have to try and find something else in these closing minutes even of this race, Nick. But overall, then, as we kind of get to the very much the business end of things here, I think it's been a big success. Oh, hello. That's Matthew Jones also entering the pit. So maybe there is going to be a proper fuel stop situation, but it might just be coming that everybody's trying to save as much as they can, because there's no mandatory stop. But if you can save enough fuel, which I feel like, given the opportunities around the lap there is, then it might be quite lucrative. Also, what that now massively recontextualizes Adam Benoit's decision to pit very early, because he's now going to be moving up the order, quite possibly. There is Mitchell Parker, who's closed in. In fact, that's the battle for the lead, because Matthew Jones has just made his pit stop and come out ahead, just by a fraction ahead of Mitchell Parker. So whether Mitchell can try and take the lead now for a brief moment, we'll have to wait and see as we rode on board momentarily with Adam Benoit. But it does seem that Matthew Jones has emerged ahead of the competition, and he's now setting off to just go and finish well ahead of the competition. Interestingly enough, we've also got Nick we've got a situation here because Mitchell Parker's going to pit a lap later, I imagine. Yes, indeed, he is. Than Nico Grimm. So which will come out on top, the overcut or the undercut, do you think? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, you look at the gaps. It's already 11. It's already 11 seconds apparently. Well, that's because Mitchell Parker's making his pit stop as we speak. Will he stick it out? It looks like according to timing, that it's actually Nico Grimm who's gained about 5 seconds or so. In that next kind of in that pit cycle. So Nico Grimm with a 4.5 second advantage to Mitchell Parker. So I presume that's not going to be able to be changed because there's only just under 4 minutes remaining. Sean Perry hasn't actually pit yet, so I wonder whether he's trying to make it all the way to the end and perhaps gain some time on that. Actually, no, in fact, he has pit because he must have done, because otherwise he'd be ahead of both Parker and Grinham. And in fact, I think he's just been passed by Jake Champion. Indeed, he has. So Jake Champion, that early stop, has actually worked out in his favour massively because it's made him, enabled him to move past Sean Perry. But I think he's definitely going for the no stop strategy. Which, if he can make it work, absolutely full plaudits to him because it's a hard thing to make work. But if he's going to make it work, it'd be brilliant. But yeah, Jake Champion then up to 4th place, only 1.3 seconds off the podium. So with 3 minutes remaining, that is the gap that separates Jake Champion from the most unlikely podium, from being turned round by that very man, by Mitchell Parker, early on in the race. To fall back in the way he has is completely incredible. And if he does get this podium, it'll be one of the best performances we've seen in the history of this league, Nick.
Yeah, so it looks like we have all of our pit stops over, other than Tristan Keeping, who still requires one.
Indeed, on the broadcast graphics, we can see that there's that little marker that tells you what they've all pit on. Here is Jake Champion then, with 2 minutes to go. This could be a very, very nail-biting finish indeed, because he's got to get past Mitchell Parker for that podium spot. This could be the move. Parker's had a brilliant race all day, but he might not be able to keep behind Jake the champ. I'm nicknaming the champion because it's been a true champion's drive from Jake Champion. And look at the way he's sending it into the hairpin now, into the chicane. I fear for Mitchell Parker's podium hopes that they might not be lasting that much longer, because we've got that lovely long sweeping right-hander leading us down onto the front straight, and we're going to have to wait and see how will Jake Champion take that. How will Mitchell Parker try to do everything he can to keep Jake Champion behind? But look at the run that Champion's got. He's going to pull side by side now with them. They're going side by side down into turn 1. Jake Champion has got the inside line. He's got the braking zone. Parker runs out wide, tries to get the cut back on the inside line of the contact. Not quite. Oh, no, there is again. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, goodness me, and Sean Perry get to the back. I do not believe it. It's all gone horribly wrong for Jake Champion. The commentator's curtains come out absolutely full strike. I've lost my voice. Champion's trying to get himself back in the race with 58 seconds left, and why not? It is effectively the last lap for him at the moment. But goodness me, Nick, what drama have we just witnessed at turn 1?
That was incredible.
It's happened again. Mitchell Parker, for the second time this race, comes to blows with Jake Champion. He will keep his podium on track. But for Jake Champion, he'd done everything he needed to do. He'd done it. And then I mean, yeah, fair play for going for it because you can. It was an ambitious move from Mitchell Parker, as it had been on the first occasion as the white flag comes out for Matthew Jones. But goodness me, it happened again. Mitchell Parker again. Well, it was this time. It was Mitchell Parker who was making the move. Um, in fact, no, it was originally
Champion.
when it, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah. I
Mitchell
don't
was
believe it.
playing quite incredible defense there, even from before the first corner. You saw him come into the middle of the track.
Yeah.
He was not given an inch.
Oh no. But just a horrible way for it to end for him on this race. Meanwhile, up front, then, as Jake Champion continues to circle round in P2. In fact, that I think is the checkered flag according to the flag stand. In fact, it is. So we've. Well, I think that's another time I've missed the checkered flag accidentally. You can see it by the way they're weaving. And in fact, there goes Mitchell Parker. Just spinning round there is Adam Benoit. Will come home P5, so the strategy sort of worked in the end. There is Jake Champion's wheel damage, battered and bruised, but very much home in one piece. BMW coming across the line, but it is Matt Jones who will take victory in the first ever race of the BMW M2 Cup. And here come the burnouts as he comes towards the start finish line. He's trying to figure out how to do it, of course.
Not
And
quite as
now they
impressive
come.
as the Mustang.
Well, I think that is the problem because he's trying to make it work, and then realizes he's driving a front-wheel drive car, so he can't, and he goes to just do it against the barriers instead. But Matthew Jones, then, we didn't mention him because all the interesting things were happening everywhere else, because that's how dominant he was in this one. Now trying a reverse burnout. Why not go for a Polish victory lap, maybe? But Nick, a brilliant race run by Matthew Jones, and he absolutely deserves the reverse burnout he's doing now. I love the fact he's doing it in reverse as well. It's just a bit of a fun little. I've never seen anyone do it in reverse.
There's a first time for everything.
I've never seen. Yeah, it's brilliant. He's making the most of it. I mean, I hope the groundskeeper's getting paid a lot of money to clear up the mess after this. And yeah.
Yeah, ruining our gorgeous grass.
We mentioned it at the top of the show. Don't ruin our grass next time we come back to Lime Rock. Maybe we'll just keep it off the calendar and just let it grow and let it be a nature reserve anyway for the grass. But no, there is Matthew Jones having taken the win, going for the reverse burnouts, going up against the fence. He's done everything today brilliantly, and Nate Campbell, who I believe is currently competing in the Watkins Glen 6000, of course we wish him absolutely the very best in that event. But he's very much got competition now in Matthew Jones. I do think when this league returns next week, it'll be very interesting to see what goes on there. Unfortunately, I won't be on the broadcast next week because I am attending the IRL actual very real 24 hours of Spa for the week. So I'm going to be in Belgium from Tuesday onwards, but I will return the week after. Don't worry. You can't just get my voice for too long. But yeah, next week I'll be out there in Belgium. So from now, I will be, saying goodbye here to do the outro then. Nick, how's it been as a duo on the commentary?
It's truly been great. I mean, last week I held the fort down, but
Yeah.
can't do as good as you, so I'm glad to have you back.
I'm glad to have you here in the booth. It makes for a much more enjoyable experience when I've got a great friend commentating alongside me, Nick. And also to have all of you in the YouTube chat as well, being able to watch alongside and cheer on your favourite drivers. But that is the BMW M2 Cup at Lime Rock for this week. If you have enjoyed, make sure to stick around because it's every night, Friday night, every week. Here for the Atlantic Sim Racing League. If you are, thinking of joining, please do. We're always welcoming new people on board here. We can never have enough. We've got a brilliant ecosystem going on here. If you're Canadian and you are representing one of the regions, get yourself in there. I think there's a bit of an imbalance at the moment from. I think that's Is that Newfoundland?
Yeah, we're seeing Newfoundland with Matt Jones and Nico Grinham, and then
In fact,
we're
never
seeing
mind.
a
Matt
whole
Jones
lot of Nova Scotia.
Yeah. I don't know, but I can just we'll just to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, I'm watching in essentially through the Discord, in the broadcast channel, and on that there is a series of voice channels, which is Team NB, which I think is New Brunswick.
You got it.
I can't believe I got that right. My knowledge of Canada isn't brilliant. I'm kind of making a guess. Team NL will be Newfoundland, right?
Yes.
It's a bit of a quiz show. Can I go 4 for 4? Nova Scotia, I know that. PEI, I'm gonna try and figure out what that is as to kind of complete the quadruple, I guess. I can't. You know what? I haven't actually ever heard of those initials in a Canadian state. So, Nick, would you reveal the final answer of this accidental quiz show?
And Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. Well, hello to all your Prince Edward Island folk, and of course all your Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and Newfoundland folk, because we welcome you all here in the Atlantic Sim Racing League. But for now, this week, my name's been Thomas Groves. Alongside me in the booth has been Nick, who also broadcasts the whole thing and produces it all and does a brilliant, brilliant job. And I'll always sing the praises of him. But yeah, we'll see you next week. Check back in Friday this time next week, next Friday. For what will it be next, Nick? Is it going to be we get back to regular schedule with the G86 and GT3 League?
You got it. Next week we go to Daytona for the
Oh,
GT3
goodness,
and
I'm missing out there.
GR86 multi-class.
Goodness me, I'm missing out. Well, I'll be watching that back as soon as I get the chance. It'd be a brilliant, brilliant thing. I mean, but yeah, until then, my name's been Thomas Groves. Alongside me in the booth has been Nick. We've been broadcasting the Atlantic Sim Racing League in the BMW M2 Cup. We wish you the very best weekend, the very best Watkins Glen 6 hours if you are indeed competing in that event. We will see you, well, I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Nick will see you here again next week for that Daytona race. I mean, it sounds brilliant. I can't wait to watch that back, and I'm sure you can't wait to broadcast that to everybody else here. But from us here in the booth, in the commentary box, it is take care, goodbye, and farewell, and have a lovely, lovely weekend.
Attention to